So when I said this the first time, people laughed at me. They said, "Oh, you're just a biased Aussie." When I said Jack Della Maddalena would shock the world against Bilal Muhammad, I was right. And this time, I'm saying Jack Della Maddalena is going to shock the world again. Not only do I think he's going to beat Islam Makhachev, I think that he's going to beat Islam Makhachev more emphatically than he beat Bilal Muhammad. I think he's going to finish Islam Makhachev in their fight. I think he's going to beat Islam Makhachev. I think this is an easier stylistic matchup than Bilal Muhammad. People are going to call me crazy for this. People are saying, "Oh, you're just biased, yada yada." Out of all of the top five, I think Bilal was one of the tougher matchups for Jack. Now, I thought it was a good matchup for Jack because I think Jack is elite and can beat everybody. But I think Bilal, on paper, was one of his tougher matchups because he's a pressure boxer, got a pressure style, good cardio, good chin, very good chin. You know, he's only been finished by Luke, takes a lot of damage, but he's got really good heart, always pushing forward. And he's a better wrestler than Islam Makhachev. People are going to say that take is crazy, but look at the fights. Look at the difference between the fights. Islam, he struggles against anyone who's had a full camp against him. And not only is he struggling against guys who have full camps against him, he's struggling against guys who aren't actually the best anti-grapplers. I mean, Dustin Poirier was able to stuff takedowns, get back up. Yeah, he did get taken down a few times. But, like, Benoit Saint Denis took him down much easier than Islam Makhachev did. You know, he took him down, and it was very, very easy takedown for Benoit Saint Denis. Now, he would get back up and yada yada, but he would get taken down by a guy like Benoit Saint Denis easy. Michael Chandler even took him down easy. Like, he slammed him, but I don't think Islam Makhachev is that level of wrestler that people think he is. His grappling is fantastic. He's an amazing wrestler, okay? This is the thing people need to realize. There's a difference between being a good wrestler and being a good grappler. Islam Makhachev is a fantastic grappler, but his wrestling is mid. He is not a good wrestler. He does not get his takedowns very easy. And these are against, like, guys smaller than him. You know, Volk, smaller than him. People bring up, like, "Oh, well, he weighs a lot when he's fighting at featherweight." No shit, he does, because he's a featherweight. He's a natural featherweight. He's not a lightweight. But Islam, just, you got to watch the fights. People say, "Oh, what are you talking about? He's like Khabib, bro." Like, but he's not like Khabib. And that's the thing people forget. People assumed just because, you know, Islam trains with Khabib, he's identical to Khabib. He's a much better striker than Khabib. You know, he might be better with his submissions, honestly, but his pressure, not as good. His cardio, not as good. And his wrestling, definitely not as good. And his ground and pound, not as good. He doesn't really inflict much damage on the ground unless he's getting like a submission or something like that. But as an actual as an actual wrestler, no. It's actually very hard for Islam to get takedowns. Unless he's fighting someone on short notice. Like, look at the fights where it comes. Well, even against Volk in the rematch, he didn't actually get any takedowns there. And that's a Volk unprepared. And obviously, JDM's going to train with Volk. He's going to train with those guys at Freestyle. He's going to train with Craig Jones. These are guys who have prepped for Islam Makhachev twice already. But then look at it, like, in the other matchups that he's had. Against Charles, he didn't even really have much success with his wrestling there. He dropped Charles and submitted him that way. Now, I think Oliveira fell over or something in the first round where he did get some control. And Charles isn't like the guy with the craziest takedown defense. This is what I mean, though. Islam is a very good striker. He destroyed Dan Hooker, but again, short notice. The Moises performance was very stinky, especially looking at how Moises is now. He's not like particularly the greatest guy. Like, he was 15-4 here now. What's he now? Like 19-9? Like, yeah, he's lost quite a lot since then. And it was a very bad performance by Islam against Dober. It took him 3 rounds to get him out of there. And these are like not guys who have the greatest takedown defense. Ahmed Saruki in a very close fight. Obviously, he's been chinned by Adrian Martins, and he arguably should have lost to Mansour Banoya, the French dude, I think. Yeah. Tarzan, yeah. That guy. But again, that's going way back. But like, you're just going to look at the recent performances. The Dustin fight, the closest stylistic matchup he'll have to someone of Jack's level, or Jack's style, I should say, is Dustin Poirier. But that's a washed Dustin Poirier. That's also something you got to factor in. This is a 35-year-old Dustin Poirier. I think it was, yeah, he was 35 years, 4 months old. Similar sort of reach. Actually has the same reach as Jack, and he was able to get a lot of shots off, but he's obviously slower. This is him after hip surgeries and taking a lot of damage. This is after Justin Gaethje knocked him out. Like, there is a lot of factors that go into that fight. It was a hell of a fight, though. It was a good fight. But I just look at all these matchups, and I just see Jack being able to keep it standing. I think he will have the cardio edge over Islam Makhachev. And the thing is, these are all lightweights, featherweights. I know Moicano for the featherweight. Dustin Poirier, he's not like a massive lightweight, but he is a former featherweight. Volk, featherweight. Charles Oliveira, former featherweight. Dan Hooker, former featherweight. I know, obviously, when you break it down that way, it's like, yeah, of course, they're all going to be former featherweights. When you break it down, like, most of the division are former featherweights. So, I'm not going to shit on him for that. You can only beat who there is in the division. But, like, none of these guys are particularly big lightweights. None of these guys are bigger than him. None of these guys particularly weigh more than him on fight night. But JDM is I would say a decent sized welterweight. He's obviously, I don't think he would make lightweight. Guys fought at middleweight before as well. Jack has fought at middleweight before. Let's look at Jack's record now. He's fought at middleweight before. He's on an 18 fight winning streak, 73-inch reach. I think giving Jack somebody with a shorter reach is like a mismatch. I know it's Islam Makhachev, one of the pound-for-pound greatest fighters in the world, but you give him a 2.5-inch reach advantage, he's going to be able to land that jab over and over. Like somebody like Volk, who's very fast but very short and did have like 0.5-inch reach advantage over Islam. He was able to get a lot of shots off on Islam with his jab. I feel like Jack has more longer reach, obviously, clearly has a longer reach. But I also think he is able to get his jab off a bit more. He's also got very good leg kicks. I don't think he's going to be much worried about anything coming from Islam on the feet. Now, Islam is more powerful than Belal Muhammad. That's one thing that I would say Islam's more dangerous than Belal Muhammad as a matchup. Like, as in he could come back, get a finish or something like that if he's down. But as an overall matchup, I think he is an easier matchup than Belal Muhammad. He's not as durable. We've seen Islam get hurt quite a lot. Davy Ramos dropped him with a jab. He got knocked out by Adrian Martins. He got dropped by Volk. He got wobbled by Volk as well before the knockdown. He's been hurt a lot. I don't think he's particularly that durable. This is the difference between Islam and Habib. Habib ate a lot of big shots in his fights, and he never really got hurt. Michael Johnson landed a fucking really fast 1-2 on him at one point in their fight, and there was no damage whatsoever. You didn't see Habib do the chicken dance or get dropped or anything like that. But with Islam, we've seen him get hurt. We've seen him get dropped. We've seen him slow down. Even in the Dustin fight, he slowed down, but he ended up getting a Hail Mary submission. I mean, he was winning that fight, but you know what I mean. I think Jack's submission defense is like one of the best parts of his game. Like, he is able to be very calm, cool, collected in fights like this. And like I said, he's got a reach advantage. I like that in a fight like this. I think he won't be afraid to throw some leg kicks at Islam, maybe slow his movement, make it a bit harder for him to shoot. And I don't think he's got to worry too much about Islam's takedowns, because I don't think Islam's got the greatest takedowns. I think Jack will be able to get back to his feet. I think in the clinch, Dustin was like peppering up the body of Islam Makhachev. Obviously, Jack Maddalena is going to do the same thing. In the body, he's going to keep going body, body, body. He's going to rip to the body so much against Islam. I think he's going to be able to land that jab quite a lot. And I don't think Islam's going to be able to take the shots like Belal could. Belal is a natural welterweight. Islam, while a big lightweight, I don't think he's going to have much success with his bullying type of style at welterweight, because I don't know if he's going to be able to take the shot at welterweight that he could take at lightweight. Because he could barely take some of the shots at lightweight, We've seen him get hurt quite a bit. Now, you could blame him for that, I understand, but Jack's going to be much bigger. Jack's probably going to be the biggest guy that Islam fights, in his career up until this point. I don't think he's ever actually fought at welterweight before. I want to say even all of his regional fights were at lightweight, but I can check. This is the great thing about Tapology. I didn't click it properly that time though. Expand all details. Okay, let's Yeah, these are all featherweight. Oh my god, he fought Zabit at featherweight. That's crazy. Can't imagine featherweight Islam. But yeah, look at this lightweight, lightweight. He's never. The closest he had was a catch weight where he weighed 164 pounds. He is gonna be undersized. I feel like maybe not undersized. I think maybe they'll be a similar size, but maybe Jack's like I don't know 5-10 pounds heavier, so nothing like significant. But I think for Islam, it's going to be a big deal because these guys he's fighting are not going to be that heavy in the cage compared to a JDM. And his takedown defense, I used to talk about his get-ups and saying, his initial takedown defense wasn't the greatest, but he has really good get-ups. I think his takedown defense is actually improving quite a lot. I don't know. I think he's going to be able to pressure Islam. Islam is a bit slower. He stays in the back foot a bit, unlike a Bilal. He's not constantly moving forward. I think someone like Jack will be able to pepper him up, kick him up, have a lot of success to the body. And I think Islam will feel his power. I think he's going to panic shoot a lot. I don't think he'll be able to get the takedowns. Maybe he'll get a few, but I think Jack will pop right back up. Maybe he'll try and threaten some darces or something like that when Jack tries to get up. I think Jack's going to be very well aware of it. Islam pulled this against Hanata Moicano, so it's not like something he's not going to be thinking about. He's going to be training with Craig Jones. Like I said, Craig Jones is perfect to train for someone like Islam to keep it on the feet. If he keeps it on the feet, I think he'll beat up Islam. Islam's striking obviously is better because of the takedown threat, but I just feel like Jack will just not give a fuck. He's not going to be phased, I feel like, by the shots. Volk, and we got to admit this, Volk isn't the most durable guy, and he was able to take some big knees, some elbows, some punches in the first fight. Obviously, he got head kicked in the rematch, I know. I get it sent to me almost every time on Twitter by some random fucking person. But I think this is actually... I think Jack is much more durable, especially at a welterweight fighting a guy coming up. I think he will be able to take the shots as well a lot better. And I think he's just going to be able to walk Islam down a little bit. I think he'll be able to beat him up. I think he'll be able to put a bit of a pace on him. And I think he'll finish him. I think we're going to get Jack Del Maddalena third round or fourth round TKO on Islam Makhachev. I think he's going to get him hurt like he had Bilal in the fifth. But I think what he's going to get him like breaking a little bit against the fence. He's going to go body, body, body. I think he's eventually going to be able to put him out. People don't realize Jack is very powerful. People say, it's just about, he's not even that powerful, he couldn't finish Basil Faz, Kevin Holland, or Bilal. These are all guys with amazing chins. Bilal has taken beatings before, like absolute beatings, and kept pushing forward. The guy's got a good chin. Kevin Holland's, the closest we've seen him knocked out, it was at a fucking illegal headbutt that he wouldn't have seen coming. And Hafez got his chin taken by JDM. And then against Burns even said his finder jab was one of the most powerful shots he's ever felt. And this guy fought Hamzat, he fought Usman. And these guys who dropped him. Jack, with just a finder jab, hurt him. I think he's going to be able to hurt Islam. And like Burns is someone who built himself into a welterweight. Stayed at the weight class for like years. He was a former lightweight, but became a welterweight. I think Islam will not be able to take the shots. He's not building. I don't think he's going to build himself properly into a welterweight. Especially like how old is he? He's 33. He'll probably be maybe 34 by the time this fight happens, if it happens in Abu Dhabi or whatever. I don't know. He's just slower as well. Like he's not like a super fast guy like Bilal. Obviously, lighter man skill coming up the weight class, he could be a bit faster, but I don't know. I feel like if he puts on more muscle, he's going to gas, or if he doesn't, he's going to get manhandled on chin probably because he's going to be so much smaller. So there's so many things that go into this fight, and I like Jack Della Maddalena to get this fight done. Third or fourth round TKO. Islam's a hell of a fighter. I'm not dissing him as a fighter. I just don't think he's a welterweight. I don't think he's going to have success at welterweight. I don't think it's the weight class for Islam. Because even if he was to beat Jack, I don't think he has much success against the Buckleys. Guys with amazing takedown defense and power. Like I think he isn't going to have the strength to be able to maul these guys. I know they say, Habib, he mauls Luke Rockhold, but yeah, come on, that's fucking wrestling training. Like they're rolling together, they're not actually trying to like kill each other, And I think when someone's actually trying to kill Islam Makhachev in the cage at welterweight, I think they're going to be able to get some big shots on him. I think they'll be able to hurt him. I don't think he's the most durable guy. I think Jack is going to be one of those powerful guys he fights, both because of the weight class and just in general. Like even if he was a lightweight, Jack is a very powerful guy. People don't realize he has fucking rocks in his hands, and I think he is going to be able to hurt Islam, and I think he's going to be able to finish him. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on the early matchup. We'll see when the fight happens, but I just want to make this quick video to say Jack Della will shock the world once again and beat Islam Makhachev. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, put on notifications. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.